what are you hearing in your, I guess, in your peer groups with therapists talking about these new psychedelic therapies that are
Yeah,
emerging?
that's so interesting. That I was actually at a work retreat this weekend with a group of therapists, which is always interesting when you get a group of therapists together, the
Sure.
conversations.
Oh, those old
It's
times.
it's like no other.
Oh
Let me tell
man.
you, we get right in there. We're like two feet in the building and already going into to deep places. But anyway, one of my colleagues was talking about. We were talking about some like the up and coming like drug assisted therapy and how we're getting a lot more info about training here in North America,
Mm,
which is really exciting, I think. And she was talking about a current client that she has that she's is using, like you mentioned, ketamine, and how she's been working with this client and has severe, deep trauma and very significant depression. Specifically, is how her trauma has presented.
mm,
And my colleague was saying, like, at first, like she heard about this colleague doing this client using ketamine as like therapeutically, and she was like, oh, okay, has worked wonders. She's like it has kind of unblocked things for this client that like, and all of a sudden seeing
wow.
like accessing these different parts of like their emotional state that they haven't been able to access, like humor, just like even tapping into grief and sadness that they've just been
Whoa.
so depressed that they haven't been able to. And so how like this ketamine treatment, like that's all that's changed, like nothing else. It's just since these have started she's
Wow.
noticed like huge gains. And I mean, I've seen that with some of my clients because I don't I've done some training in EMDR, but I'm not fully certified, so I don't believe in messing around with that until like you have the exact, there's a real protocol with EMDR.
Right.
So I often kind of refer to some of my colleagues here in my practice who will see like, so I will do like the pre-work with the client, getting them like basically ready for the EMDR work, processing some of the trauma, and then I'll
Right.
feel like, okay, we've hit a block. So then I'll send them to my colleague who will do the EMDR, and sometimes we'll actually do it in conjunction. Like I'll be in session with my colleague who's doing the
Right.
EMDR work, and then I'm there to kind of do what you mentioned, like that kind of post containment integration work after the EMDR. So we're kind of using that model, I think, already, but in North America we're not specifically.
Sure.
But I do have clients I'll say that are using like microdosing, who swear. I have one client specifically, and he's been struggling for a long time, and he's just been starting to microdose, and like I'm seeing huge
With suicide.
changes. Yeah, and he was like
Because
scared to tell me, and I was like, no, like I'm all for that. Like that's amazing. I don't care what, like, and
right.
it's been really